Hey guys, me again. So, for those of you that have been subscribed for a long time, you're probably asking why I keep uploading Dark Souls 2. I have no idea what else to upload until Dark Souls 3 comes out. Anyway, today we're looking at the Great Scythe, a weapon I've literally never seen anyone use against me ever in this damn game. And if you're wondering why I've never seen anyone use it against me in this damn game, it's because the fucking Great Scythe sucks. Holy shit. The concept is fine and dandy. It's a weapon that you gotta space with to get the most out of it. But the most out of it still is not very good compared to every other option available to you. It's so bad that my mindset while playing it was severely crippled. And in order for me to take it seriously, I had to equip a backup fucking easy mode katana, or else I would always panic when I'm using the damn scythe. That's not to say the weapon does not have its merits though. We're gonna look at that last clip, okay? After a series of very intimate butt touch exchanges, we find ourselves at a point where I have a significant lead, and seeing this, he decides to play defensive. When I see that's what he's going for, I start going for baits. Despite the shit that is this weapon's range, you can still poke people without the sweet spotted tipper. The R1s are perfect for this because they have the most misleading animations I've ever fucking seen. They last forever, and then you can chain them regardless of how far into the animation you are. The fun thing about this weapon though is that you can mix it up. You can just sit there and mash R1, and after the first combo, the rest of the R1s just fucking machine gun out. It's like... And top with that, when they see that you can change speeds like that, most people will try to go for quick, fast approaches like a dash or rolling attack, which then you can just parry. You're like, hey buddy, fuck you, get that shit out of here. And believe me, you are going to need to parry. I highly recommend learning to parry before you pick this weapon up. Even if you don't know how to parry though, if you want to learn how to parry through very violent trial and error, pick this weapon up. Because if you don't know how to parry, you're going to fucking lose. Another thing this weapon will straight up force you to learn in order to use it is conditioning. You need to make it look like the animations are huge. You need to purposely delay them so that your opponent thinks it's much safer to approach than it really is. Because even if you do punish, you'll usually punish for maybe 100 damage because the sweet spot on this weapon is ass. And since we're talking about punishes, it's very important that you rely on punishes. And it sucks because you have to rely on punishes that are weak. I have better general attack damage with my katana +6 than I do with my great scythe +9. With that in mind, that begs the question, why would I ever use the Great Scythe over a katana? Why couldn't I have just given up on this upload and made the video about the Black Steel Katana, which was my sidearm? And the answer to that is kind of two-pronged. First of all, every fucking weeaboo and their mother knows how to use the fucking Nippon Steel. Its skill ceiling looks flashy, but it's really not that hard. Everyone knows how to use this damn thing. And that's where the problem with using a katana comes in. Everyone knows how to use it, so everyone knows the maximum efficiency of using the katana. No one fucking uses the goddamn scythe, so no one knows what the fuck I'm gonna pull out with this fucking scythe. I beat an entire fight club with this stupid ass weapon. Even so, still, keep in mind, if you're just getting into PvP, and you want to try a weapon like the Great Scythe, don't. Change weapons entirely. This weapon, you need to be the top of your game and have a lot of experience to even be okay with this. You need to know your spacing, you need to know the average kind of ghosting you're gonna see. You have to be able to animation cancel at least 30% or something of your attacks, because this weapon can be parried so easily. You can reaction parry it. Which is ironic, because the main thing about this weapon is baiting for parries. It has a huge skill ceiling, and even when you break that skill ceiling, it's not that great a weapon. You can see in this clip, because I'm panicking because the parry didn't do enough damage, I pull out the katana, and it just immediately out-trumps the Scythe's damage entirely in 2 R1s. All I had to do was walk up, R1 twice, and bam, damage. If I were to try to get that damage with the Scythe, I would have to bait him into swinging into an open position while I have enough spacing to dodge it and land a perfectly timed sweet-spotted R1 to lead it into maybe a sweet-spotted R2. The amount of difficulty using this weapon is tremendously high, and then the rewards you get for putting in all that effort are fucking low as shit. It's out-trumped nearly by everything. You could just spam dash R1s with a katana, and you will do significantly better than a person giving it his all with the Great Scythe. The playstyle seems so genuinely interesting, all about spacing and perfect tips, but the rewards you get for all the effort you put in are butt-fuck nothing. You may as well just be using a different weapon entirely. Now keep in mind, the damage issue may just be because of me and my build. My build had high dex, but maybe there's another way you're supposed to set up this weapon for proper use. For those of you, like me, who continue to be a crazy bastard though, and upon hearing everything I've said in this video think, fuck that guy, I'm gonna prove it's the best weapon in the game. Let me give you some tips on how to at least use this weapon effectively beyond what I've said. The spacing is about maybe a medium roll away from you, so give it like a 50 roll and up. You can easily combo a roll into a turnaround R1 to punish fat rollers. And if they're fat rolling to dodge in a straight direction, just keep swinging. The second swing pulls them back into range. And if they dodge the first one, well, now you can do a third swing. That is basically the first swing again, and it will hit them. Your R1s are not your exclusive bait moves. Your R2s are really good bait also. And they also are really good if you can read the approach, because the R2 is sort of a pull in. It'll just slash them on their way if they're trying to roll inside behind what they thought would be an R1. Conditioning is very important to this weapon. If the opponent already knows how fast you can actually swing the weapon, you're fucked. You're fucked. There's not much more value in the weapon, because they know how short the animations really are, despite how they look. And if they know that, you're stuck with a stick that does low damage unless you perfectly space something out. You're just fucked entirely. I highly recommend using this weapon as an offhand, because aside from the fact that it has really far reach, the main asset I could find in using this weapon in like actual invading is if you find a turtle player, you could just attack from behind with the Scythe until they learn to stop blocking, and then you can switch to a main hand weapon that does actual damage. Be prepared to clank against just about anything. This weapon's sweet spot is better at hitting the wall and leaving you open than hitting your opponent in general. So just be ready for things like that. Unlocked play is practically a must for this weapon. You need to be able to change the direction of your swings and predict where they'll go, because with a swing that's as straightforward as this one, you need to be able to punish those rolls that try to get you at an angle. Specifically your left. You can mash R1 to prevent people rolling to your right, but if they roll to your left, they're just going to kill you unless you can predict that and hit them before they can punish you. You need to get the stone ring. You need to break poise. You need to use that. With the R1s in hand, you need to be able to bust through the poise, and because if they tank through it, they're going to punish you for significantly more damage than you could have possibly landed. If you're in a fight club and you're using this weapon, you need to change weapons after a few fights, because if you don't, they're going to see everything the weapon is capable of doing in your hands, and they're going to do everything they can to prevent you from getting the kill with it. The rolling two-handed attack has a very wide range for once. Rather than the usual up and down-ish attacks, the rolling attack is really good for turnaround attacks because of the long animation delay. So you can just do a complete 360 and swing the weapon in a wide arc to hit anyone behind you for maybe 100 damage. So it stone ring. Stagger them at least. Just get something out of it. This is one of those weapons that you need to animation cancel with. You need all the variety you can get with this weapon because most of your hits will do 50 through 70 damage and maybe like 200 through 300 on a sweet spot, whereas everyone else is doing 200 through 500 consistently depending on their weapon and their build. Using this weapon is a huge uphill battle, but I am not gonna say that it was not a blast to use. If you've ever played Super Smash, this is gonna vaguely remind you of Marth's playstyle. All you kind of do is try to super rely on that fucking tipper, dude. You just the tip. Just stab him with the tip of your dick, and then shit goes to town. No one ever expects it. It's great. The amount of crazy-ass baits you can do following the R1s is fucking astounding. R1s into parries or R2s or backstep punishes and then fucking roll punishes into backstabs. The R1 is basically an open move. You can create your own attack following that. It's fantastic, but I still heavily recommend parry. You need all the damage you can get out of this stick. To summarize up the video and all the tips I'm giving on this weapon, every attack with this weapon is a baiting move, with R1 being the greatest bait among them all. Spacing and positioning are very important to this weapon, and you need to understand how to use them properly. Depending on which side you hold the Great Scythe on, you're going to want to watch the opposite side of that. It's very easy to get punished from that side, since most of the Great Scythe's main attack force are in an up and down sort of level. The weapon tends to clank against things and just kind of be a general pain in the ass to use. My personal opinion, use it as more of a surprise weapon rather than your focus weapon. It's very important that you land that tipper, because otherwise you're gonna do butt fuck all damage. This weapon will force you to learn how to space and parry. It's very good if you want to learn how to do those things, because if you don't do those things, you're just gonna fucking die. So, yep. There goes another guide by me, everyone's favorite weeaboo-hating anime fag. If you like shit posts and memes, you can subscribe to my channel and shit. It's kind of a cesspool of degenerates, miasma, and disease. But we're all pretty happy here. And there are like cute 2D girls and